So I want to talk about whether master classes actually work. You see these things all over the place. There's actually a website about master classes. You see YouTube shows and all of those kind of things that are all basically master classes, right? So it's somebody that has done very well and they are talking about how they actually got there and the lessons that they actually learned. These are really, really insightful, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat that most of the time that they actually don't work. So before you go spend your money on master classes, other than just through entertainment, I would not actually do that. I don't think that you're actually going to get anything that works from that. And I want to explain what I'm actually talking about here. So if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Massack. I'm Associate Professor of Innovation Strategy and Entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people that help me out that I want to pay the favor forward to help you out as much as I possibly can. So here's the thing with masterclasses, right? So masterclasses are this sort of phenomenon that's going on right now where people are, they're usually some sort of expert in their field, right? It could be the best chef in the world. It could be, maybe it's the best singer. I love this one. I've done the masterclass. I actually have the membership to that. And it's Steve Martin. I just love the guy. I think he's very talented. He's a really fun guy. And I want to tell you this right off the get-go that they actually don't work. And here's the reason why they don't work is because that you don't have a lot of stake in the game. And there's a couple of things that we know in terms of learning. That's what I study, right? So I study learning. I've understood. I have a pretty good background in economics, a pretty good background in strategy, pretty good background in sociology, like a lot of different things. My original degree was in engineering, so I understand a whole bunch of stuff, right? And so here's the reason why it actually does not work is because you don't have any sort of incentive to actually make it work. That's part of the reason why education actually works. And if you look at, higher education actually works is, so first of all, the sort of freer, more public school education doesn't work that good unless you actually want it to work. So unfortunately, I love my institution, just that students don't necessarily have the incentive to do as well as what they should. If you're going to a very high-end institution, this is the reason why they actually work really well. Not only is there like a screening process that goes in, right? And you've all heard of all of these high-end institutions, right? Like Harvard and Princeton and MIT and, UC Berkeley, like all these kind of things. The incentive is like crazy expensive. So that encourages people to actually put in the work because when they're there, they want to get that value out of the thing that they actually spend. So having some sort of investment in the game actually really does matter. And I really think about all of these kind of incentives, and it's hard to figure out how to get that to work properly. To get people to be incentivized in various different ways. I struggle with that. That's a really hard thing that I struggle with. I can't quite figure it out either. So getting a free course on YouTube or, a masterclass thing where you pay, some sort of membership per year, it really is not going to benefit you that much. However, what I would encourage you to do, this is how you get it to work, right? So you have the sort of incentive at play. What I would recommend for you to do, and I've heard of people doing this thing. I actually haven't done it, but I think it actually I did do this to finish my PhD, but it really didn't incentivize me to do that much. It's at the end of something, right? So force yourself to pay a big fee at the end of something to actually get it to work, right? So if you finish the course, then you have to go on a trip or something like that, and where you actually dedicate your time to figuring it out. The other thing I want you to do is before you take any particular course that you want to do, really think about what is the objectives that you want to get out of that. So you should have some sort of problem that you're working on to solve that with that masterclass, right? So, being an introductory kind of thing, it's really not going to work. I mean, it's just entertainment at the end of the day, right? You're paying for entertainment. It's really nice. That's why I watch Steve Martin. It's because he's entertaining. He's really fun. He's kind of an interesting, he's a very smart person. So that's what you have to sort of realize is that a lot of this stuff, you have to sort of disentangle what makes it work and what doesn't. So, the incentive really works well. Having a sort of problem that you are working on really works well. The other thing is making sure that you have some sort of direct feedback in some sort of way. That helps a lot, right? So having a coach, an actual real coach in the area that you're looking for. Problem is, in the sort of career coach thing, there's a lot of sleazy people, and it's hard to find that. You just want to find somebody that is going to hold yourself accountable in some sort of way. So, mental health professionals are great for that, right? You probably are not going to find that kind of person in your immediate family or friends and stuff unless you're all really weirdo. And those people just often don't exist, right? Like weirdo in the sense that you're all kind of really gung-ho about these things. You're not going to find that. So finding maybe it's a mental health professional looking up that can actually get you along the lines of having some sort of goal setting procedure might actually work. But here's the thing, like even with all of that stuff, it's really hard to get it to work, right? Like people are really weird in many different ways. So you have to think about how do you normally break down? Like what is the moment that you kind of like don't want to do this kind of stuff? What is it that you're trying to do? What I encourage you to do is really have that problem perspective before you go into that. You're watching this. I know the reason why I know this doesn't work is you're watching this and you're just going to be like passive, right? Just like everybody, right? You're not engaging in anything. Instead, what I want you to do, another thing that's another trick, is to really take notes. Imagine that you are in a classroom and you're taking notes and you're like doing the things that you should be doing. That's part of the reason why the classroom experience is incredibly powerful. It's because you have the social norms where people are writing things down and you have that sort of like, back and forth discussion and, making sure that everybody's sort of pushing each other forward is really, really important. The other thing is having that, incentive where you're like, if I don't do this thing, I'm not going to get a job. I'm going to be like out of it, right? Like figuring out how to do that, find the combination. That's what you need to look for, right? There are all those things that you are just going to bust your butt and you're going to feel bad about that thing. Like that's why YouTube shows and all that kind of stuff doesn't work that well. You're never going to pay attention to this. You're not going to listen to this. You're going to be like, oh, that's nice. Whatever, I don't care. But this is your life, right? If you want to make things work, be systematic with everything that you do and just, damn it, just make it work. Like work at it. So you don't even need courses and all that kind of stuff if you don't want to. But I'd highly recommend to take knowledgeable courses with people that get it. Oh, the other thing I wanted to point out with masterclasses, there's this thing called selection biases, which is a really big thing that drives a lot of processes that go on. The problem with people that were successful all the way through, and I teach this like a lot in my school, is that there's selection biases, right? So they were successful, so you don't get the stories of the thousands and thousands and thousands of other people that didn't make it. And, that's the difference between like really good research, really good sort of, study of these things. We're going to try to tap in on that stuff. It's super hard to do, like crazy hard to do, but we're going to try to tap in and get those stories of the people that actually didn't make it. And it's going to help out in the long run. And then that way you can kind of get both lessons, right? There's a real problem with that, by the way, to just learning from experts. You need to learn from the people that were giant disasters that blew up and all that kind of stuff. All right. So with that, give me a thumbs up, do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and, save your money when you see these master classes and just realize it's entertainment. Or there's two things, right? It's entertainment or that they're trying to sell you some crappy service or product or something that is probably not going to be helpful anyways. So just save your money. All right. Take care. And, what works? What we know works, master classes, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like, yeah, what we do know that works, right? This is, and of course you're going to say I'm biased, all that kind of stuff. Education, like higher education, getting a college, high school degree, finishing off your high school degree, getting a college degree. We know those things work if it's in the area that you are really excited about. That's the trick, right? Is to find the area that you're excited about. Look for the more applied stuff. I love kind of like co-op-y sort of programs and things like that, work study programs. Those are amazing. They work pretty effectively. All right, so with that, give me a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye. See ya.